107.9. Good morning. Welcome to the Greg Belfrage Show. Hope you had a great weekend. Really great to be with you this morning. Want to give you a heads up for those of you who are watching the stream. I'm not going to be interacting with you very much during this. I will during the YouTube show that I do at 9:30 coming up this morning, the fourth hour. Then I will engage more interactions with you, just like I do during the radio show with the phones. The only difference being folks will be commenting and I'll be reacting and responding. So that'll be coming up the fourth hour this morning at 9:30. So we're just getting underway here. Thanks so much for being here. Hit that like button, makes a big difference. I appreciate it.
Little cola on radio. Dispensing a daily dose of common sense. No prescription
Mondays, I'm
required.
never ready.
Americans love a winner.
It's
and
always
will
like
not tolerate a loser. Americans play to win all the time.
I don't believe in a no-win scenario.
This is the Greg.
Good morning, my friend. The marketplace of ideas is open. Welcome to the Greg Belfrage Show. Hope you had a terrific weekend. Well, we've got the Democratic National Convention that opens in Chicago today. The president speaking in prime time tonight. So let's give you a bit of a rundown as to who will speak tonight. It will be the president, and Jill Biden will also speak, along with former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton. You'll have the mayor of Chicago who will be welcoming everyone. Tomorrow, it'll be former President Barack Obama. Wednesday will be Vice Presidential nominee Tim Walz, also Nancy Pelosi, former President Clinton, Pete Buttigieg. They'll all speak on Wednesday. And then, of course, on Thursday, you'll have Kamala Harris accepting the Democratic nomination as the convention gets underway. That'll be a big story over the course of the week. And it will, I think already you're seeing protests that are starting. In fact, these are anti-Israel protests that got underway yesterday. Demonstrators disrupting a delegate party, and one warning, welcome to Hell Week. So protesters were confronting Democrats over the war in Gaza, bring the war home, and there was a lot on social media. So at one point, protesters targeted a delegate party at Navy Pier, where one actually reached the stage, grabbed the microphone, and accused the crowd of funding a genocide, according to Chicago media. The protester said the Harris-Biden administration keeps sending money to Israel before getting dragged off the stage. And so if we're seeing that happening already, where reports are out there, they're stepping up security, there's going to be tight security. Okay, that already happened yesterday. What's going to happen is this thing gets underway. It remains to be seen. There are a number of stories that are out there this morning talking about the fact that we're only 19 days away from when voting starts. Fox News has a piece this morning, and there's a lot of conversation about what's going on in Virginia. Governor Glenn Youngkin, he signed an executive order there regarding election security measures. So 79 days until Election Day, but for a lot of people, they will be voting early. In fact, it will be coming up here in pretty short order. The polls will start opening. And I took a look just to see, for those of us in the heartland, September 20th, Minnesota and South Dakota, in-person absentee voting begins in Minnesota and South Dakota, September 20th. October 6th, Nebraska, in-person early voting begins. In Iowa, October 16th, in-person absentee voting begins. So you've got voting that'll actually be starting here fairly quick, which is why the debate between Donald Trump and Kamala Harris, I think, is a big deal coming up on September 10th, because as I just mentioned, you look at some of this, early voting will be opening up in some places around the country already by that point. So Dick Morris was on Newsmax, and he said of the debates coming up September 10th between Kamala and Donald Trump, he said, I think that's going to be a massacre, a wipeout, not just a debate. And he said, I think that's because it's not just a question of Harris' delivery or Harris' issues or her beliefs. It's a question of her level of information, he said. And he said that Kamala Harris is famous for not really preparing for stuff. And this is pretty fascinating. He says, with the Democrat convention then this week, and there'll be a lot of excitement surrounding that. And you may see that being reflected then in the numbers a little bit, which is why, frankly, I think it gets a little bit tiresome following a day, today. It's like, seriously? I just don't have the strength for that. You know what I mean? So Morris said her whole record indicates very often a slapdash, almost scatterbrained approach to stuff. He's got that right. No kidding. And Trump is incredibly well prepared and incredibly knowledgeable. I think that we're going to see a huge Trump move after September 1st, starting then, and that momentum will carry through election day. So again, we're becoming up pretty quick. Early next month is when a lot of these, again, a lot of early voting begins in a number of states, but pretty quickly. Also, CBS News is out with a new poll, finding that Donald Trump holds a significant lead over Kamala Harris on key issues like the economy and immigration. So they talked to likely voters about the major factors influencing their decision. 83% of them identified the economy as a major factor. 76% pointed to inflation. 74% cited the state of democracy, and 62% highlighted crime. And this is 56%, so mentioned the U.S.-Mexico border as a key issue. So you take a look at voters then who were talking about the economy, inflation, the border. Trump was favored over Harris by a wide margin. Trump led Harris 56 to 43%. That's among those who said the economy is a major factor. On inflation, he held a 61 to 38% lead. On the border, his advantage was 76% to 24%. Harris led Trump on issues related to race and diversity, abortion, and the state of democracy. But again, that's not where a lot of us live. That's where the left lives. That's where the media, lives. But it's not where many of us live. I mean, as far as issues that are important to us, the economy, inflation, the border, Donald Trump is. Also, there was more on that, because I think we're seeing some of the reaction then from folks. Let's talk about the economy for a moment. Fox News had a very interesting piece this morning, and they talked to Brent Johnson, who is a farmer and president of the Iowa Farm Bureau. And he was talking about American agriculture over the weekend. And he is, I think, a fourth generation farmer, if I'm not mistaken. You know, his father, his grandfather, this kid. So he's this goes on. Fourth generation farmer from Iowa. And he said, within the agriculture sector, see, and I think this is a big issue. He said, we're in a recession right now. We're in a recession right now. Now, remember last week, we had Ernie Goss, who was talking about the fact that we have seen for 12 straight months, in other words, a year, 12 straight months that we have seen, what's going on with, recession, especially in, as you're talking about agriculture, you're talking about agricultural states really feeling the impact of that. And that's what Brent Johnson is saying. We've seen a lot of job losses. We're seeing negative balance sheets. It's become very challenging, he said. It doesn't take somebody with a PhD to figure out that the math isn't working and that we've got to do something to offset what's been going on. This is another farmer, John Boyd, who's a Virginia farmer. And he's the founder of the National Black Farmers Association in Virginia. And I totally agree with him. It doesn't take somebody with a PhD to figure out that we have got to do something in regard to this. And this just goes on. The reaction from farmers, and that they're being brutalized. So John Boyd Jr. again is the president of the National Black Farmers, that group. He's their president. And he said that the economics make it very difficult to stay alive. And then you have an administration that hasn't been aggressive in helping us. So he played a part in getting the administration to release $2 billion in direct assistance to Black and other minority owners. Trump has said on the campaign trail he will cancel every Biden administration policy. He said because they're brutalizing our farmers. Trump said. And this goes on, young farms are going out of business and the number of farms, and they're not being replaced. So farmers are being brutalized as they're talking about this. And this Brent Johnson, the president of the Iowa Farm Bureau, saying, within the agriculture sector, we're in a recession right now. So not the one is coming, they're in it now. And again, as I said, you heard those figures about what's going on with the Midwest economy last week from the Kello.com newsroom, reflecting exactly that. 12 straight months of decline. So also, Senator Bernie Sanders voicing strong support for Vice President Kamala Harris and her newly unveiled economic policies. These were unveiled Friday, then over the weekend, and Sanders, he's thrilled with it. He said, I think, which is enough for me. As Bernie Sanders goes, I go in the opposite direction. And Sanders said, I think given the fact that she has been a candidate for only 3 weeks, I think she's doing really, really well in a whole lot of ways. I think what she laid out today was a strong progressive agenda. Obviously, in the weeks and months to come, I think she's going to add more specificity to some of these proposals, and she's going to add to it. We'll see. Donald Trump gave a speech in Pennsylvania over the weekend. And he referred to Kamala Harris as a communist for her economic policies. And he said, 80 days from now, we're going to defeat a communist known as Kamala Harris. And he labeled her as the most radical leftist to ever run for office, Trump said. And then he pointed to her economic plan, which he unveiled then on Friday. And this is the day after. And so Trump then likened her policies to communist and socialist countries, referred to her as Comrade Kamala. It will cause rationing, hunger, skyrocketing prices, just like their Inflation Reduction Act caused, he said. Under Kamala Harris and crooked Joe Biden, the American dream was dead. If we win, we're going to have the American dream alive, all for your beautiful children. The American dream will be back with us, Trump was saying. And then he blamed this administration's policies and Kamala Harris as well for horrific inflation. He said, everyone in this room has been devastated by what they've done, he said. So Don Lemon was, did you happen to see any of these interviews that Don Lemon did? Don Lemon was out in Atlantic City, and he was polling people about their presidential choices and, who are you going to be supporting? And so one man told Lemon that the U.S. was much better 4 years earlier when Trump was president. And so then Lemon pushed back on that. And the man asked Don Lemon, do you get your news from CNN? Apparently not realizing that Don Lemon worked at CNN at one point. Just absolutely hilarious. So they had this, the man said, I made a lot more money than I do now. And so Lemon, this is why we call him Don Lemon. I know you feel that way, but that's not actually what the record shows. The economy is actually better under Biden. And the guy bursts out into laughter. Because again, these people lie. And I wonder, does Don Lemon really believe that? I think he does. I think he is such a nitwit. I think he actually believes this, right? Pushing this guy. And the economy's actually better under Biden. The guy breaks out in laughter, laughing right in his face. No, I'm serious, Lemon says. And that's where the guy says, do you watch CNN? And he said, that's not because I watch CNN. Oh, and this is one person then after another, similar. One man told Lemon, Trump for the win. So Lemon said, tell me what. I can't really call that right now, but I just feel like she's not good for president. He's saying of Kamala Harris. He doesn't feel she's good for president. She's a good vice president, but not for the actual lead role of the country. Does it have anything to do with being a woman? And the guy got a little bit miffed. He said, no, because I feel like women. He said, nah, you're not going to give me that. And then he said, she's the vice president. She's a senator. And the man said, yeah, no experience. No. So this was just pretty incredible series of interviews that Don Lemon did, I think, are really showing where there are pieces out. This is from townhall.com. Harris went on the stump without a teleprompter and disaster ensued. PJ Media echoing the same, something very similar. Another humiliating rally for Kamala Harris off the teleprompter. And it's Another word salad that she was serving up, and I would love to share some of that audio. And I listened to it this morning, and I just went, "What?" I mean, you need a decryption team to be able to come in and tell you what it is she actually said. Yes, I understand the words coming out of her mouth, but they don't make it. It's as if I were to respond to you in gibberish all morning and you go, yeah, understood every word he said. I don't know what the hell he just said. You know what I mean? That's what Kamala Harris, when she's off the teleprompter, that's what you get. It's just absolutely incredible. So we've got the Democratic National Convention again kicking off today in Chicago. So it'll be 4 days of political speeches, ending with the speech by Kamala Harris on Thursday. One of the other big stories this morning, NASA's Perseverance rover is set to begin embarking on a months-long expedition up the western rim of a crater on Mars, then scientists have called Aurora Park. So now remember, the Perseverance rover landed in February of 2021. It's about the size of a car. It's a lab, has so far collected over 20 rock cores. And so its latest journey will see the rover climb an estimated 1,000 feet in elevation. And that's a look at the big stories this morning. Thanks so much for starting your day with the Greg Belfrage Show. Really do appreciate it. Currently, partly cloudy and 61. And this hour of our show, brought to you by the Window Shop of Mitchell, offering custom windows starting at $99 a month.
528 Kello, News Talk 1320, 107.9.
Okay.
Bring charm from the outdoors into your home with Renewal by Anderson Picture and Combination Windows. Optimizing a beautiful view and light in the bedroom, kitchen, or living room from ABC Seamless in Sioux Falls. 605-646-2667 today.
Let's ABC Seamless. It's time for the Halberstadt Summer Clearance. One location, 41st and Louise. Up to 50% off on all your favorite sportswear, suits, and more. Incredible savings, up to 50% off. Only at Halberstadt Summer Clearance, 41st and Louise, next to Starbucks.
In today's fast-paced world, building strong business relationships is key. It's about forging connections built on trust, innovation, and passion for excellence. Lawrence has shown that we're about pushing boundaries, problem solving, outthinking and outdoing the competition, and driving positive business outcomes. If you're tired of settling for subpar results, get to know us at l-s.com, where every problem has a solution and every result is extraordinary.
Did you know your life insurance is an asset you can sell? I'm Jay Jackson, CEO of Abacus Life. For almost 20 years, Abacus has been purchasing life insurance policies from seniors just like you. And at abacuspays.com, we've created a free policy value calculator so you can find out the worth of your policy in just seconds. There are no fees, no obligations. Get real value for your life insurance when you need it with Abacus. Learn more at abacuspays.com.
Not all policies will qualify, not available in all states. Are you having trouble hearing? Hearing loss can devastate the quality of your life. Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated in the best hearing aids of 2024 by USA Today, Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices. Just $189.
I actually like it better than my old $5,000 hearing aids.
I could not believe how my hearing aids life changed. Join over 500,000 happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
Partly cloudy skies today in the Sioux Falls area. Our daytime high 83, southeast wind at 5 to 10. We'll keep a light southeast breeze tonight. Low temperature at 60. Most of the rain chances will stay well west of Sioux Falls, but tomorrow there's about a 30% chance of a shower or thunderstorm with a high right around 76. From the Storm Center at Kettleland TV, I'm meteorologist Brian Carstens.
And in Sioux Falls at 629, partly cloudy, 61 currently at Kello. Joe Bowman is in the Kello.com News Center. Coming up, the Sioux Falls Little League team is out of the World Series tournament. A major drug bust in western South Dakota resulted in 3 people being arrested on fentanyl and meth charges. Senator John Thune explains why the farm bill is stalled out in the Senate. So Joe will have details on those stories and more coming up for you here in just a few minutes. Thanks so much for starting your day with the Greg Belfrage Show. 6:30, partly cloudy, and 61 at Kello.
President Biden speaks tonight. President Biden is expected to warn of a threat to democracy posed by former President
Well, of
Trump.
course he is. That's what he says every time he opens his mouth.
The next president. Harris won't formally accept the nomination until Thursday night, but she is expected to be in the United Center this evening for the president's address. First Lady Jill Biden and former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton also rally delegates on this opening night. Fox's Jared Halpern. There's a House Republican report on the president's impeachment.
The House Oversight, Judiciary, and Ways and Means Committees, they've been leading this impeachment inquiry against President Biden for months, and they said their investigation found that President Biden engaged in impeachable conduct and said he abused his office and, quote, defrauded the United States to enrich his family.
Fox's Brooke Singh.
Excuse me for a few minutes.
Kello News Time, 6:31. I'm Joe Bowman in the Kello.com News Center. The Sioux Falls Little League baseball team is proud to have represented their state at this year's Little League World Series in Williamsport, Pennsylvania. The team is out of the tournament after a 6-3 loss to Staten Island on Saturday. Coach Nick Corton said the team held themselves high and represented well. A major drug bust in western South Dakota resulted in 3 people being arrested on fentanyl and methamphetamine charges. The State Highway Patrol stopped the 3 suspects traveling in Pennington County. An estimated 20 grams of fentanyl, which is about 2,000 pills, and 7 grams of methamphetamine were seized. The driver, Brendan Ray Williams, age 30 of Rapid City, who already had 3 outstanding warrants, had been previously identified by authorities as a possible fentanyl supplier that brought the drug into South Dakota from Colorado. Senator John Thune recently spoke at the Aberdeen Area Chamber of Commerce. Residents asked the senator why there hasn't been a new farm bill passed. Thune explains why the farm bill is stalled out in the Senate.
We're not in the majority in the United States Senate, so we don't set the agenda. We can't get the farm bill to the floor absent the majority leader. And frankly, we haven't marked it up in the committee yet. The Democrat chairman of the committee has yet to bring a bill to the Senate Ag Committee for us to negotiate on, to work on, and to pass.
Thune says he does not expect any movement on a new farm bill before September 30th, when the current farm bill expires. A new report puts South Dakota in the top 10 states for the most speeding tickets. According to a survey by Insurify, which looked at the data of nearly 100 million insurance quotes, South Dakota ranks 7th in the nation for most speeding tickets. Western and Midwestern states dominated this top 10 list, and the state with the most speeding tickets in the nation, North Dakota. And in Canaries baseball, the Birds snapped a 5-game losing streak on Saturday with an 8-7 win against the Salt Dogs. Sunday's game was postponed. The Canaries have the next 2 days off, but will take on Lincoln again in a doubleheader at the Birdcage on Wednesday. From the Kello.com News Center, I'm Joe Bowman.
The news never stops. Kello, News Talk 1320 107.9.
Weather brought to you by Intech Cleaning and Restoration. If you need it clean, call the Intech team. IntechClean.com.
Partly cloudy skies today. Our high temperature 83 with a southeasterly wind at 5 to 10. For tonight, low temperature at 60 with a southeast wind on the light side. And then tomorrow, high at 76 and about a 30% chance of a scattered shower and thunderstorm, especially by the afternoon. That's the latest on your weather from the Storm Center at Kettleland TV. I'm meteorologist Brian Carstens.
Entertaining talk and news when it happens. Kello, News Talk 1320 107.9 and Kello.com.
If you're an internet influencer, or worse yet, one of the tens of millions of wannabes, and if you buy fake likes and followers, here's a warning. Your time is up. I'm Kim Commando for Oracle Cloud Infrastructure. Accelerate your AI workload today. Take a free test drive at oracle.com/Kim. Buying fake followers is deceptive and misleading. It never helps a small-time influencer grow. And when legitimate advertisers and businesses find out, and they do over time, you will never regain their trust. The problem is rampant, not only with influencers, but also with certain brands notorious for posting glowing but fake reviews of their products on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and even on Amazon. Finally, the United States Federal Trade Commission is coming after these influencers, businesses, and literally everyone deceiving the public with fake followers, bots, subscribers, views, and likes. Look for big fines and possibly even some hard time. Play it safe. Fire those fakes today. Sign up for my free newsletter at getkim.com. AI might be the most important new computer technology ever. It's storming every industry, and literally billions of dollars are being invested. So buckle up. The problem is that AI needs a lot of speed and processing power. So how do you compete without costs spiraling out of control? It's time to upgrade to the next generation of the cloud. Oracle Cloud Infrastructure, or OCI. OCI is a single platform for your infrastructure, database, application development, and AI needs. OCI has 4 to 8 times the bandwidth of other clouds, offers one consistent price instead of variable regional pricing. And of course, nobody does that better than Oracle. So now you can train your AI models at twice the speed at less than half the cost of other clouds. If you want to do more and spend less like Uber, 8x8, and Databricks Mosaic, take a free test drive of OCI at oracle.com/Kim. That's oracle.com/Kim, oracle.com/Kim.
The Kim Commando Show, live Saturday mornings at 9. Kello News Talk 1320 107.9.
The Kello Hotline is brought to you by Tires. Your Give You More tire and automotive store. Financing programs available. 2 Sioux Falls locations to serve you.
We don't just meet expectations, we exceed them.
Running out of time.
Best practices, we set them. At Mitchell Roofing and Siding, you're not just choosing a service provider, you're choosing a partner who's relentless in the pursuit of perfection. A partner who believes in getting better every single day. Together, we're not just building roofs, we're building a legacy of betterment for generations to come. Here's to the future where we continue to get better together. Mitchell Roofing and Siding. Call us today, 996-8648.
Inflation, the economy, what's happening on Capitol Hill. Kello doesn't just bring you the news. We bring you the news that affects you, with great opinions from right here in South Dakota and all across the country that put it all into perspective. Kello News Talk 1320 107.
Quick word from my friends at Washington Crossing. Are you ready to enjoy retirement your way? At Washington Crossing, you'll find a vibrant community designed to make life easier and more fulfilling. They've got beautifully designed living spaces, a variety of daily activities, and then delicious meals prepared with care by the chef at Washington Crossing. There is always something to look forward to. Need a little extra help? No problem. Washington Crossing offers support when you need it, so you can focus on what matters most. Discover the next chapter of your life at Washington Crossing. Give them a call today. Their phone number is 605-271-9273. Schedule a free private tour today. That's 605-271-9273. Washington Crossing, life made simple. .638, partly cloudy and 61 this hour of the Greg Belfrage Show, brought to you by the Window Shop of Mitchell, offering custom windows starting at $99 a month.
What's trending now?
Add them on Facebook.
Let the tweeting begin. The hashtag does that. News and views from Belf's News.
I didn't finish sorting these out this morning as I normally do, so let's just get to them. They're in no particular order. Had anti-Israel protesters demonstrating on the eve of the Democratic National Convention. This started yesterday. So they are making demands. It started an evening ahead of the DNC. So, in other words, last night, these groups, the rally became one for the pro-Palestinian cause. Originally, it was supposed to be for groups that had organized the DNC. Also, Kamala and Tim Walz wrapping up their Pennsylvania bus tour ahead of the Democratic National Convention in Chicago. So again, tonight, this will be day one of the Democratic National Convention. President Joe Biden will speak tonight, along with Dr. Jill Biden, both be speaking tonight. Also, Donald Trump and his campaign, along with J.D. Vance, they are trying to counter-program the DNC this week. So what will they be doing then to try to appeal to voters? Donald Trump scheduled a rally in Arizona, in Glendale. Also, J.D. Vance campaigning in Georgia the same day that Kamala Harris accepts the Democratic nomination. And the campaign unveiling a plan to barnstorm the battleground states during the DNC. Also, the DNC convention will be offering apparently free abortions and vasectomies at the DNC. And you get a lot of people. So Daily Caller has that story. Those at the Democratic National Convention will have opportunities for free vasectomies and abortions. And then this is bringing a strong response. Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene, among those reacting to it, among others. So this is coming from Chicago's Planned Parenthood providers stepping up their effort then to offer free vasectomies and abortions during the convention. I know, I saw that and I'm just like, what? So Donald Trump rallying his supporters in Pennsylvania, and he's in a county that is pretty critical, and that's where Trump is at. And among the comments that Trump made, and this is the one that the media then immediately latches on to, Donald Trump claimed he's better looking than Kamala Harris, which thrills the crowd. You know, they laugh. Also, Michelle Obama will be among the speakers at the Democratic National Convention coming up tomorrow night. Harris campaign has also announced a $370 million fall advertising push, including ads on Fox News Channel, but only during the daytime. So not during the evenings and shows like Jesse Waters, Sean Hannity, Laura Ingraham. They will be on Fox News Channel during the daytime. You'll be seeing Kamala Harris ads. There's a lot of reaction to Kamala Harris and her economic pitch then, which was on Friday. USA Today had a piece. Harris' economic plan promises voters affordable groceries and homes. Don't fall for it. So, yeah, the more you look at that, Washington Times got a piece. Harris takes page from Communist Cuba's playbook with war on prices. Also trending this morning, The Alabama Secretary of State, get a load of this. This is moved over 3,000 people to inactive voter rolls. Questions over their citizenship. So this is the Alabama Secretary of State moving over 3,000 people to the inactive voter rolls over questions as to their citizenship and whether they would be voting then legitimately. Donald Trump has also announced who will be part of his transition team if he wins in November. So his sons are included. And Trump said, my administration will deliver on these bold promises. We will restore strength, competence, and common sense to the Oval Office. I have absolute confidence the Trump-Vance administration will be ready to govern effectively on day one. So he's already naming those who would be on his transition team. Also, the Trump campaign has launched a Jewish Voices for Trump coalition, trying to mobilize voters. And he announced this last week, and it's trending now this morning. I didn't see this last week, but it's trending this morning. And it's a coalition of Jewish voices from various industries who are backing Trump in the election. That announcement comes as the Democratic Party has faced declining support among the Jewish community for years as it embraces far-left anti-Semitism, like Representatives Ilhan Omar of Minnesota, Rashida Tlaib, and others. Also, Donald Trump released his financial disclosure records, shows that Donald Trump owns more than $1 million in cryptocurrency holdings. And he's made $300,000 on branded Bibles, according to his. Now, the branded Bibles, keep in mind, releasing those as part of his, in order to raise funds. So his financial disclosures showing his liabilities as well, and the millions he owns between 1 and 5 million in the cryptocurrencies, which license Trump's likeness for NFTs. Those are the non-fungible tokens. Kamala Harris, late last week, unveiled her economic agenda, including a price gouging ban and $1.7 trillion in new spending during her speech in Raleigh, North Carolina. And it's not getting a good reaction, bad reaction, and that's fairly widespread. It's not just bad reaction from Trump or conservatives. Also, Donald Trump's granddaughter has announced her verbal commitment to play golf at the University of Miami. This is his granddaughter Kaya announcing this, and she made, you'll remember, quite a splash at the Republican National Convention this year. Also, Secretary of State Antony Blinken has been pushing a Gaza ceasefire deal. He's been trying to push that, and Hamas is having none of it. But boy, this administration, if they tried as hard to improve the economy as they have tried to reach a ceasefire deal in Gaza, I mean, our lives would be pretty good. Also, Russia has launched a third ballistic missile attack on Kyiv this month, according to Ukraine. So this is yesterday. Russia carried out its third ballistic missile attack, and a Kursk bridge was destroyed. In fact, Ukraine, this is coming from Russian news. Ukraine actually destroyed 2 bridges within the Russian mainland, according to reports. Other stories trending this morning. The Idaho school, this is a Idaho school district. It's mandating, this is crazy. They are mandating parental consent for Band-Aids and basic first aid. So the district's saying it needs consent in order to use what's considered to be routine first aid, Band-Aids, mental health check-ins, over-the-counter headache medicine. And it reads, while the Boise School District is not a healthcare provider in general and does not diagnose medical conditions, we do provide services that are covered by the new law. This is a new law in Idaho. And there's going to be some growing pains here. So what the Idaho School District is saying is that they now need parental consent in order to dispense basic first aid, things like Band-Aids, so on. Also, brace yourself for this. The United States experiencing largest summer COVID wave in at least 2 years. CDC data shows. Yeah, according to the CDC, they're at it again. COVID, this is another NPR. COVID is on the rise this summer. And this going on in a number of places. U.S. experiencing largest summer coronavirus wave in at least 2 years. Do you have the fear when you hear those stories that you may have at one point? Or do you just go, what? Seriously, what is this? Also, a Missouri woman was charged in a scheme to defraud the family of Elvis Presley. She was arrested Friday, charged in connection with this scheme. She was trying to bilk them, the family, of millions of dollars and steal the family's ownership interest in Graceland. So she was arrested then on Friday, and authorities say she's behind this alleged plot to defraud the Elvis Presley family of Graceland, along with a considerable amount of money. Other stories trending this morning. George Santos is expected to plead guilty today in a fraud case. So the fraud trial against Santos may be on pause. Case now says he's expected to plead guilty today. So a hearing is set for 3 p.m. Eastern time in federal court today. Also, unemployment claims have decreased by 7,000, down to 227,000. And that is then strengthening the case for the Fed then to finally begin cutting rates. So U.S. weekly job claims fell, and again raising the case for the Fed cutting those rates. Georgia officials say they're going to provide election workers with panic buttons to make sure they're safe during November's election. So there have been an increasing amount of threats, apparently. And so they'll provide them with panic buttons, trying to make sure they stay safe. Also this morning, multiple UFO sightings. This story is trending. So multiple UFO sightings reported in Palmdale and Lancaster, California. And you've got folks there who have been sharing their encounters. Then they're detailing their experiences on their Ring app. And the footage is coming from the Ring app. So they claim that they have spotted and filmed UFOs zigzagging across California skies. One person said they spotted them after going outside. They were too far for me to confidently say they were flying saucers, but did anyone else see these multiple then? This person said we counted 6 after being out there for about 10 minutes. Just not a very great length of time. Also trending this morning, Eugene and Dan Levy, father and son, making television history as the first father and son team to host the Emmy Awards. So they will co-host the Emmy Awards coming up this year. Also, there's a piece trending involving Prince William and Prince Harry. They haven't spoken in almost 2 years, and reports are saying that William does not want to, his disloyal, that's his word, his disloyal brother, Prince Harry, to be at his coronation. So when Prince William is coronated, becomes a king, he doesn't want Harry to be there. So the problems apparently continue in the royal family. And that's a look at the stories trending this morning in Bill's News Gallery. Thanks so much for letting me join you this hour of the Greg Belfrage Show, brought to you by the Window Shop of Mitchell, offering custom windows starting at $99 a month.
News, the last word in.
Well, I want to thank you so much, my friend, for letting me join you this morning. Thanks for being here. If you'll hit the like button, it's very much appreciated. I hope you'll come back at 9:30 for the 4th hour of the Greg Belfrage Show. Do it every day. That one's a little more relaxed. I can have more interactions with you than I do this hour. So I hope you can join me at 9:30 for the 4th hour. Otherwise, I hope to see you again soon. Take care, my friend. So long, and may God bless.
Biden is dead set to get as much done as possible before leaving office.